What up guys, Alchemist here, and I got something nice for you. So I wanted to run back on this build. Some of you guys don't know because y'all not members of the channel. Become a member of the channel, you will get exclusive and early access to certain videos. And one of the videos I did early access for is AGER'S SCEPTER, but it wasn't out yet, and I'm not releasing that to the public. I may leave it up for members only, and that's it. But because I don't know if I'm gonna just get rid of the video completely, because I did put hard work on it. But I want to redo this build right here. I want to say I'm sorry to AGER'S SCEPTER. I gave it a poor performance when I used it because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing with this weapon, right? To work with the artifact Harsh Refraction, right? Harsh Refraction only works if you're attacking an enemy that is debuffed with slow or freeze, because we on stasis, to get that 35% with AGER'S SCEPTER. Problem with AGER'S SCEPTER is, unlike its counterpart Navigator and Prometheus Lens, for example, it cannot do slow and freeze on its own while it's doing sustained fire, unless you're inside the super form of it with the catalyst. The only thing it does is, if you get final blows with this, it does a slow burst near the enemy you kill, like Firefly basically, and it freezes all the enemies that was near that enemy within like 4 meters, right? So in order to utilize the Harsh Refraction in the artifact to give this weapon its 35% buff 24/7, you have to make sure every enemy that you fight is always slowed or frozen no matter what. If they don't have it, this weapon falls short when it comes to DPS compared to its other counterparts. So I wasn't doing that well in my first build video with this, so I want a redo. So in case you didn't know, like I said, AGER'S calls the exotic perk on this weapon, and when it get final blows on enemies, it does a slow burst 100 stacks near any enemy that is near the enemy you just killed. 100 stacks of slow is frozen, so you basically freeze any enemy that you kill with this weapon, right? And then if you get any stasis final blows with this weapon, or any stasis final blows in general, it reloads this weapon from the ammo reserve, so you don't have to worry about reloading this weapon ever unless you just need to top it off. The exotic catalyst is when you got a super bar, you can use your super bar by holding the square button or holding the reload button, and basically in that form it gets supercharged, and any enemy that it shoots with this gun at that moment gets slowed and frozen, meaning it's always going to be proccing Harsh Refraction in that form, meaning it's always going to have the 35% buff that it needs for this gun to shred, right? And it gets the actual extra damage too while it's in its form. I believe it's a 80% damage buff, maybe 100%. I'll put the buff on the screen like I usually do. So that's the exotic weapon I'm using for this trace rifle. We could be on prismatic for this build, but I want to be on stasis. I want to rock the actual subclass for the weapon of the element of the trace rifle that I'm using. Microcosm gonna be on prismatic because kinetic, but every other one I want to be on the element that it is. I don't know if I'm gonna do divinity yet. Divinity do poor damage, it's for debuff and not for DPS. But I'll think about it. We'll see if I come up with some creative with playing divinity. Anywho, Master Felty is our exotic we're using. You could use Renewal Grass as well, because you can't be just putting out a dust field grenade to slow enemies and get that frost armor and stuff. But I want to be a bit more aggressive with this build, so we're using Master Felty, which gives us the exotic perk null factor, which is Withering Blades, our melee, our ice shurikens. Hits and bounces create a small stasis crystal and refund a portion of melee energy. So we get our melee energy back while we throwing these ice shurikens off the walls and their enemies and stuff. Using Withering Blades to shatter crystals or frozen targets releases a spread of Withering Blades, making more bounce off the wall and whatnot. Very good for ad control and freezing and slowing a lot of enemies in the room, which we want to do for AGER'S SCEPTER to utilize Harsh Refraction. The weapon we're just using a weapon for anti-barrier, so we just got us a insurmountable sidearm that have repulsor brace and the stabilizer rounds on it, just for anti-barriers. If it wasn't anti-barriers in here, you can use whatever you want, okay? Any primary like Word of Crota to utilize the artifact, or Aerial Denial grenade launcher. You're rocking double special, Indebted Kindness, whatever you want to do, okay? We're rocking Bump the Night as our heavy. Some of you guys probably don't know what this is, but crafted, it's an old weapon. I forgot what season it came from, but you want to have this for the build. Why? Because it has chill clip. If you got a wave grenade launcher or something like that that has chill clip, or a linear if you want. That works too, but I mostly say do a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher, so the explosion spread slow to the enemies in the room. You want to have this so that after you shoot into a crowd of enemies, if they don't die, you immediately change to AGER'S SCEPTER. You get that 35% from the enemies being slowed. That's our main focus. So you want to use Bump the Night and killing slow enemies will give some ice shards as well. Artifact, we're running the main ones you want to run. Don't worry about your champion mods. That's all up to you based on what you're running. Only thing here that matters is piercing sidearms. Overload trace rifle do not work. I won't say it again. Do not work with AGER'S SCEPTER because it already slows intrinsically and frees intrinsically inside the exotic when it goes in super form. So it does not get the overload trace rifle. Sucks to see, because then we could have stacked it with elemental supercharger and then we would have been getting our super back quicker, and then we would have been getting the super form for this gun even quicker that we're trying to stay in 24/7. So sadly, it doesn't work. Other than that, you want to make sure you have beam medic on, so when you do get them kills while you shooting this weapon in super form, you get health back. You want to make sure you have elemental siphon on, because when you get rapid kills with AGER'S SCEPTER, it will be making stasis shards for you to pick up, because that's the element pickup you're using with this element subclass, whatever. So more shards equals more frost armor. Also, you want the second perk in the artifact for this. I didn't unlock it yet, but the second perk is also good because say when you get elemental pickups, which you will be doing all day in stasis, picking up shards, you will get super energy picking up them stasis shards. If you got the exotic boost, the artifact boost for this, you're going to get to super back quicker for the exotic perk, AGER'S SCEPTER. Make sure you have this. Just great perk for this build. We're rocking Harsh Refraction, 35% when we hitting an enemy that's debuff, matching the same element to debuff or whatever weapon we're using. For us, it's stasis. We're using AGER'S SCEPTER, so we will be slowing and freezing targets to get that 35% extra damage. We will be rocking Dreadful Finisher, so we get more special ammo. For AGER'S SCEPTER, because you run through it very quick because of how AGER'S SCEPTER is with the exotic perk and stuff, and not having to reload and stuff, the catalyst, you need that special ammo. And then we're just rocking Flashover and Defibrillating Blast for hard to end content, so the bolt charges kill the champions quicker. If you're not a hard to end content, you can choose anything else. You can match this with the Void Artifact Synergy with the Malign Harvest and Volatile Marksman. You can do that. And then last, we're rocking Heavy Ordnance Regeneration because we are rocking Bump the Night, our rocket line, so we might as well get that extra 25% damage resist always with our frost armor for survivability, and get that more uptime on our grenades and melee regeneration. Other than that, we won't be rocking Limit Break because we will be using our super bar for our gun and won't be using our super. So yeah, these only two you will need to run in the artifact. Everything else wouldn't work in this build. What we're rocking in our fragments is, you know, we don't really got nothing. We got Gambler's Dies to get our Withering Blades back for our exotic helmet. We don't have no other super. This is the only super we got. Triple jump. We're rocking Cold Snap Grenade so we can instantly freeze any champions or enemies near us. It chains, get that frozen, so we can do 35% instant damage to those enemies. And then we do the freeze burst, killing them with AGER'S SCEPTER, the shatter, freezing enemies nearby and damaging them, and just keep the loop going. If you're running Renewal, run Dust Fields. But yeah, you could also be cheeky and run Glacial Grenade so you can throw your shurikens at it, and then that gives you shatter damage and extra grenade energy, melee energy and stuff and whatnot. So you can do something, you know, unique there, right? We're rocking Winter Shroud, so we get that 50% damage resist for 4 seconds whenever we shade step, and then also whenever we slow targets, it gives us uptime on our class ability even quicker. So we will be getting our class ability very fast, but we're gonna be slowing all day, so we can just keep shade stepping for that 50% damage resist for survivability. This is kind of the only thing you have to run on hunters. You need to run on hunter stasis, because other than that, survivability is kind of whack with just frost armor itself. This helps that power fantasy. Then you have to run Grim Harvest. You have to run Grim Harvest. I repeat, you have to run Grim Harvest. Grim Harvest making that when you're defeating slowed or frozen targets, you create stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy, so you can get more Withering Blades to spam it with your exotic when you pick them up. But also, while you have Grim Harvest equipped, picking up stasis shards grants stacks of frost armor. So you need this in order to get frost armor on hunter. You got to run this, okay? Fragments we are rocking. Okay. Fragments we are rocking. We're rocking Whisper of Fissures, so when we do shatter damage, it has a bigger radius and do more damage. We got Whisper of Rhyme, so we can hold 8 stacks of Frost Armor instead of 5. 8 stacks gives you 50% damage resist, while 5 I believe gave you like 32%. So you want the extra damage resist for survivability. Rocking Whisper of Shards, so when we shatter stasis crystals, we get uptime on our grenade recharge rate. And then you keep shattering, it resets timer, so you keep it longer. We got Whisper of Change, defeating targets while you have Frost Armor has a chance to create a stasis shard. So you want this have on so you have more stasis shards to keep the Frost Armor loop going non-stop. And then lastly, we have Whisper Conduction for the bump in stats, but also too, so we don't have to worry about picking up the shards ourselves. They'll just magnetically come to us like a freaking electric shield from Sonic the Hedgehog. So we got that on. You could swap one of these out if you want to put on like Whisper Hadron, which give you 60 plus stats and everything when it comes to mobility, resilience, and recovery. You will be freezing things all day, so I can see you putting this on instead if you feel like you don't need to run and pick up your shards. So this is a free slot if you don't want to, if you think you can just pick up your shards yourself. This is a free slot. Last but not least, our fragments. We're rocking 2 special ammo reserve finders. Like I said, the ammo economy on AGER'S Scepter is very scarce because how much you're gonna be shooting with it. So make sure you have special ammo finder no matter what. I got 2 of them, and I got Harmonic Siphon on, so we get them orbs of light while we are killing with AGER'S Scepter. You could, if you feel like special ammo is good for you, you could take one of these off and put on hands on. So when you get melee kills with the shurikens, you get super energy, so you get your special bar quicker, so you can do the super form on AGER'S Scepter. RMPs, we're rocking Impact Induction. Basically all the melee stuff so that we can get our cooldowns back. So Impact Induction, melee damage give us grenade recharge, and then Focusing Strike, melee damage give us class ability. And then we got Heavy Handed, so when we do kill people with our Withering Blades, we get an Orb of Light. We got our Resist mods in our chest piece, and then we're rocking a Harmonic Reserve for our AGER'S Scepter so we have more ammo to hold on us. Again, you run out of ammo quick. Lead piece, we're rocking 2 stasis weapon surges to give 17% damage buffs to AGER'S Scepter, and then we're rocking recuperation for survivability. And then lastly, we're rocking in our class item bomber, so when we shade step we got a grenade energy back, and then we got a reaper for whenever we shade step, which we're gonna be doing a lot. We make it overpower, and then we got time dilation on so that stasis weapon surges stay on even longer. You can replace time dilation with recovery mod, so you have more recovery on your hunter plus 30. All up to you on this slot right here. And final notes: when enemies are frozen, they take 10% extra damage from special and heavy weapons. So that does give AGER'S Scepter 10% extra damage to its damage output. And also, you do have tonics you can rely on. Even though there's no stasis perks in artifact, you do have tonics to rely off of. There's a tonic in here that literally says finisher moves grant you health. You got a tonic in here that says shattering stasis crystals grant you a small amount of class ability energy. So if you want to get more class ability energy in your build, you can put on this tonic right here. You also have, you can't do this one because we don't have primary stasis weapon we're using, but you also have, of course, the one I always recommend, Void Shrapnel tonic that gives you 50 plus intellect. You try to get your super quick with this build anyway, you might as well put this on so you get your super bar up so you can use the super form of AGER'S Scepter. Anyway, that's the build. I had to redeem myself. Hope you guys enjoyed the build. AGER'S Scepter, you're actually good. I was the one messing up, okay? AGER'S Scepter is good this season without the artifact being towards stasis. So I hope you guys enjoyed the build. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys always. And until next time, stay up.